Good evening. The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection at the Kingsport Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
Welcome to the Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman Business Meeting. Today's Tuesday, September 7th. The first order of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, led by Mr. Ken Weems, a member of our staff and an Army veteran. And please remain standing for the invocation. Our pastor, Tiger Brooks, is a little under the weather today, but my colleague and friend, Alderman Darrell Duncan, will lead us in prayer. So please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's bow our heads and just for a moment of silence, followed by prayer. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have here this evening. We thank you for this wonderful region and the city you have blessed us with living in. Be with each person here or those who may be watching this evening on TV, and thank you for the roles that each play in our community for all of us to benefit and enjoy. Let us not take the simple blessings in life for granted, and let us be reminded that they are your gifts for us to use. Show us how we can be your hands and your feet in our community as our leaders give us strength and wisdom to make good decisions for others. Be with all of our first responders, healthcare workers, and our military personnel all over the world. Give them strength as they work diligently each day to keep us safe from harm's way. Be with the ones who are sick this evening and touch their bodies for healing. Watch over us and care for us, and let us be the examples of your love and care that you have bestowed upon us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please be seated, and thank you, Mr. Weems and Alderman Duncan. Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Mayor Schul.
Here.
Vice Mayor George. Here. Alderman Cooper. Here. Alderman Duncan.
Here.
Alderman Alterman.
Here.
Alderman Phillips.
Here.
Thank you. By my reckoning, there are 6 members present, 1 absent. And Mr. Deputy City Manager, please proceed.
All right, tonight we have 3 recognitions, and if you don't mind, I'll kick off the first.
Please do.
All right, it's a fabulous honor for the city of Kingsport and what we're about to receive. But before I bring some people up to present the presentation, I do want to recognize a few people in the audience. Jennifer Salyer, if you don't mind standing, Jennifer, I know you'd rather not. But with Barge Design, helped craft what we are going to receive tonight. Pat Braden with GRC constructed it and did a phenomenal job bringing a lot of volunteers and gifts and different things into this project and delivered a fabulous project. And then Sheila Ketron was the one, and you have to stand, Sheila. Sheila from the city is actually the one that made the submittal. So thank you all so much. At this time, what I'd like to do is call 2 leaders from our community forward. One, Calvin Clifton, to introduce our guest tonight. And many of y'all know Calvin. He's the business development manager for Manor and Craig. But what you might not know, and he's also for the city of Kingsport, is a member of our board of zoning appeals, which isn't always the funnest board to be on. You deal with a lot of weighty issues. And we appreciate his wisdom in that. What many of y'all might not realize is Calvin has been on various committees on a national level with the American Public Works Association and is instrumental in bringing 2 board members here tonight to present this award. And at the appropriate time, Judd, if you and Nico could make your way up whenever you see the presentation wrapping up. But this project, the Miracle Field, was the vision of Judd and really all the way to the end. And the neat thing is they get to enjoy it with Nico utilizing the Miracle Field. So this project for the city of Kingsport, for our community, wouldn't have happened without Judd. So he is actually going to be the one that receives this award on behalf of the city of Kingsport. Calvin?
Well, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm just here to introduce some folks, but I want to go back many, many months ago when Judd came to our Kingsport Kiwanis Club with this idea, and this community is very special to many of us, but to see a project like this gain the momentum, and now we're about to present a national award, and that's basically why I'm standing here. I want to introduce a couple of my friends and colleagues through the American Public Works Association. Jim Neal is on the board of directors. Jim hails from Summerville, South Carolina. And Keith Pugh. Keith is also on the board of directors. He represents Region 3, which is 4 states in the South region. And Keith and Jim and I have served on various boards at the national level, but I'm just here to introduce them and again commend everyone on this impressive award.
My name is Jim Neal. I'm the Technical Director for Engineering and Technology for the American Public Works Association. And I just wanted to tell you how excited we are to be able to present this award to the town of Kingsport and the companies that provided this outstanding project. Keith is the regional director. I'm a technical director. Usually you don't get 2 board members making an award presentation, but that's usually Calvin isn't the one asking, and he's pretty good at twisting arms and asking us to come. This award is a very difficult award to receive. It's the top award for this year for projects submitted to APWA in the $5 million or less structural category. We get about 500 applications across all the categories. There's usually a minimum of 20 applications for each of the awards, so it's very, very competitive. People don't put in for this unless they have a real special need. So the Kingsport should be very proud of this award and for the efforts that your staff and your community did to provide such an outstanding facility. I was just out there today. It's a beautiful facility. It's got some great engineering innovations in the surfaces and in the way it's designed for special needs folks. And we're just really excited about presenting this award. Keith?
Absolutely. As Jim said, my name is Keith Pugh. I'm actually retired from the city of High Point, North Carolina. I call North Carolina my home chapter. I moved to Greenville, Tennessee in December, and I love it over here. I do represent Region 3. As Jim said, I'm going to add a couple more to it. It's Tennessee, Kentucky, North and South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, D.C., and Maryland is the territory that's covered. But just like Jim, I'm not only representing Region 3, I represent the United States and Canada because we have members all across North America, and we have over 30,000 members. This particular project, kind of near and dear to me, not necessarily because it's in Kingsport, but because of what it represents. Miracle League, close to my heart. I've got a special needs nephew, and I don't want to crack up in front of everybody. But we opened a Miracle League Park in High Point several years ago. And I was involved in a lot of the things leading up to that project being built. Bought a brick for my nephew to put out in the main concourse area. So Miracle League and everything that it represents and the folks that are served by that are fantastic. And I think Alderman Duncan put it very well, let us be your hands and feet. And this is one of the ways we provide that service back to our community. So, Judd, if you and Nico will come forward, I don't know that there's anything else I can say about Judd. If it weren't for this man's vision and persistence, this project likely would not have happened. So, Judd, on behalf of the American Public Works Association, we would like to present to you and to the city of Kingsport APWA's Project of the Year designation for structures less than $5 million. And as Jim stated, a very competitive category, and you are to be congratulated indeed. Thank you.
Judd, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Use the microphone, Judd.
Thank you guys for traveling to come this far to present that award. It's very special. We've gotten a couple of awards for our project, but this is the largest and most important that to us. We felt like it was the most competitive. And whoever did the book, awesome job. But at the end of the day, it's about the kids. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's about the kids and about those people that need special places for special people. And I'm glad you guys got to go over and see it, because you look and you see the mountain and you can tell where we're going to expand as we need to. And I just about have the money, so I'll be coming back. But we've visited them all over the country and took the best practices. But GRC and Barge, they took the vision, made it real. And Jennifer and Pat, anytime I would call, I probably bugged them to death putting it together. But it's always special to do something for somebody else. That's why I feel like we're here, to do those things of stewardship for others. Kathy and I, my wife, have lived in several communities in several areas. We try to do something in each of those communities to make it a better place. Nothing this large. She said, "What are you doing taking on something this big?" But it was the easiest to raise the funds of any project I've done. Miles, my wingman, and Chris is not here. We rode all over this country looking at ballparks, but I think we have the best, and I think you guys recognize that, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to come around and do a presentation. So, Miss Melanie Eisen, if you could join me up at the podium. Hey, before you guys leave, let me thank y'all for coming all the way up to Kingsport and all that. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I always thank you. Miles and Pat Breeding, there's a whole bunch of good guys here. Judd, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support, guys.
Okay, Melanie, let's see. I'll get the microphone here. Melanie is from the Sullivan County Anti-Drug Coalition, and she's going to accept this proclamation on behalf of the coalition. This is a very somber and serious subject. I'm going to proclaim Suicide Prevention Awareness. It's very appropriate, the melodies with the anti-drug folks, because often folks that become addicted to the drugs become very despondent, and they resort to suicide, which is the absolute worst thing that could happen, because all human life is valuable. So let me proclaim the City of Kingsport proclamation, whereas suicide is one of the most disruptive and tragic events a family and community can experience, with more than 1,100 lives lost in Tennessee each year. and an estimated 25 attempted suicides for each suicide death. And whereas suicide is the 9th leading cause of all deaths in Tennessee, the 2nd leading cause of death among youth ages of 10 to 14, as well as young adults ages 25 to 34, and the 3rd leading cause for children ages 15 to 24. And whereas more than 3 lives a day are lost to suicide in Tennessee, which means we lose 21 Tennesseans each week and 97 people per month, and veterans, active duty military, and National Guardsmen face a disproportionate risk as compared to the general population, with more dying from suicide than combat, and that strikes home with me because I'm retired from the Army. Whereas public awareness of this tragic problem is the key to preventing further suffering and loss of life, and the risk for human self-destruction can be reduced through awareness, education, and treatment, as the highest risk for suicide is among the survivors of those who died by suicide or those who have attempted suicide. And whereas Tennessee is a national leader in the effort to prevent suicide, being one of the first states to develop a suicide prevention and evaluation plan covering the lifespan, and whereas we encourage all Tennesseans to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of their family and friends and to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Now, therefore, I, Patrick W. Scholl, Mayor, City of Kingsport, and on behalf of the Board of Mayor and Alderman, do hereby proclaim September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in Kingsport, and urge all citizens to work to prevent suicide and to raise awareness and tolerance around all people affected by this tragedy. Signed this day by my hand, Patrick W. Scholl, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Scholl.
Okay, you want to say something?
Sure. I do appreciate you, Mayor Scholl, and the board for recognizing this and this proclamation. We are very lucky in Tennessee. We have a Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, and I'm here also on their behalf. We can all get trained. There's 2 trainings called ASSIST, A-S-S-I-T, and QPR. They're both suicide prevention trainings. Very simple. It makes you more comfortable asking, people, is this something that you're considering? And so it gives you some tools to help others so that you're comfortable with it, talking about it. So if you're interested in that sort of training, look at the tspn.org website, and there are trainings all over the place for that. But I appreciate you all and your recognition of this serious matter, and
Yes, ma'am.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your work in this regard, and keep it up. It's very needed. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Deputy City Manager, go ahead.
All right, our final recognition is for the Kingsport Police Department. A recent first-place finish in the Tennessee Law Enforcement Challenge, and I've asked Chief Phipps to come describe the challenge and this recognition. But before he does, Chris asked me, and I agree, I want to just take the liberty to describe a little bit of Dale and Chief Phipps and really how valuable he has been to the city manager and our community. He, like the department, they reflect one that doesn't like limelight. He typically shines from being asked to speak a lot of times, but he has a servant's heart, and I think that is representative throughout the whole department. He leads very well. We have been so happy that he stepped up, and the team that he has within the police department, and really they do represent or reflect the servant's heart that he brings to this.
Kingsport's finest.
Kingsport's finest, yes, sir. Dale, do you mind go ahead and describe this this award or recognition?
Thank you, Ryan. Your words are very kind. Mr. Mayor, Board, it's always an honor and a privilege of mine to be able to brag on the men and women of our police department. Through my career, I've had the fortunate opportunity of visiting several other departments. I can promise you I'd put them up against anybody without blinking. But this particular award that we just recently received towards the end of August It comes out of the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, and it is referred to the Tennessee Lifesavers Conference. And this past conference was the 33rd, so they've been having it for quite some time, and our department has participated in that for several years. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe one year we won a car. So we've been recipients of some good things over the years. But this most recent one, excuse me, is, to describe it is kind of hard because you have to compile all our great efforts throughout the year into a book, if you will. It's a compilation of efforts of the department that reviews guidelines, enforcement activities, stats, our incentives, our recognitions, as far as our policies within our own department as it regards to traffic safety, wearing your seat belts, and et cetera. And the tip of the spear for us in our department is our traffic unit, and that is comprised of these three gentlemen, and at the time is Lieutenant Justin Quillen. If you'd please stand, Justin. Officer Matt McGuire and Officer Aaron Grimes. They are our traffic enforcement officers. If you have a wreck, one of them's coming. Okay, so they do an outstanding job, and I really appreciate their day-to-day effort because they just go above and beyond and are willing, like Ryan said, they have a servant heart as well. Justin recently has been transferred to our professional standards unit, so he's going to be overseeing our policies and guidelines and internal affairs section as well as training. So he's carrying on. But these McGuire and Aaron are going to continue their efforts. But this was a great recognition for us. The way it is awarded, you are established within a size of your agency. And for us, our size of our agency is at 101 officers to 200 officers is the category. And we submitted our compilation through these guys' efforts. They compiled the book and the stats and everything through the whole department. It's a department effort, but they were the spearhead. And so they submitted this, and we came away in that particular category with a first place award for the state of Tennessee. And I'm incredibly proud of these men. And they have just done exceptional work, and again, it is my honor to be able to lift these guys up because they certainly do deserve it. And I appreciate your time and letting me speak to it.
Okay. Well, we're certainly proud of these folks, Chief, and in fact, I recognized this in my weekly email I send the citizens and cited Matt McGuire there by name because he's done such great professional work. Mr. Deputy, what do we do now?
All right. Sir.
Hey, won't y'all step up and let the crowd see in the camera and everything? Okay? I see Justin modeled his haircut after the Chiefs, so. Okay. Thank you. These are the guys, they're responsible. Thank y'all.
Ready to go? Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Deputy, go ahead.
All right, tonight you're considering two appointments. The first is an appointment of Bonnie McDonald to fill the unexpired term on pet work for Jeff Fleming. We ask that you approve the appointment as presented.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0, one absent. Next item.
Next, we have an appointment to the Emergency Communications District E911 Board. You are considering an appointment of Jim Everhart to fill the unexpired term of Craig Dye. We ask that you approve the appointment as presented.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second. Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0, one absent. Please proceed.
Next item is the approval of minutes for the work session on August 16th, 2021, and the business meeting held on August 17th, 2021. We ask that you approve the minutes as submitted.
Thank you. As stated, there's 2 sets of minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0, one absent. I see, Mr. City Manager, we have a public hearing.
Yes, we have one public hearing tonight. It's to amend zoning of tax map 64, a portion of parcel 138 located off Shadowtown Road from B3 Highway-Oriented Business District to R4 Medium Density Apartment District. Ken Weems, our planning manager, is here to present the public hearing.
Thanks, Ryan. This rezoning request takes us back out to the Carolina Pottery parcel out on that end of town, as you can see on the vicinity map right there. It's an owner-requested rezoning from the current zone of B3 to R4, which is our medium-density apartment district. And the proposal at hand, what they want to do with the property is to construct 152 apartment units on the site. They submitted a conceptual site plan that you can see right here. This would take that whole left side of the Carolina Pottery parcel to include the existing entrance off of Shadowtown Road, and the whole left side of that existing very large structure would be raised to accommodate all of this apartment use. The surrounding zoning is our city commercial zones and county residential, and during their September meeting, the Planning Commission voted to send a positive recommendation to the board in support of the rezoning effort. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
Thank you. Before I declare the public hearing open, board, do you all have any questions or comments for Mr. Weems?
No, ma'am, on that graphic, that's actually a water line. I can back up, let's see. The city limits is shown right here in the yellow. That's the best depiction of the city limits. Yes, ma'am.
When would this project start if it's approved? Is there any timeline?
I was just asking a developer that about 15 minutes ago, and they don't have a timeline right now. But they are, eager to get past the rezoning site, or past the rezoning effort, rather. So, but they don't have one right now. So.
Thank you.
Any other comments, board? If not, I declare a public hearing open, and I note that there's legal representation and business representation of the owner here, and you all are free to comment if you wish. Are there any citizens that wish to comment on this proceeding? Is anything y'all wish to say?
We're happy to answer any questions that y'all have, but I won't take up your time if there's no one here to talk about it. They're very excited about this project, and the timing of it is based on if this passes, then they will start going to project design, but they wanted to wait before it was rezoned.
For the record, Marcy, could you state your name and who you represent?
My name is Marcy Walker. I'm an attorney with Hunter Smith and Davis Law Firm. And do you need my address?
That's okay.
Is that okay?
So you're not tearing the whole building, that's just, looks like half the building?
It'd just be the left side of it, or the western side of it.
There's nothing anywhere in there right now, right?
No, it's completely vacant. There's nothing at all there whatsoever.
So the other part will stay commercial or business?
Yes, ma'am, and they do still plan to do the indoor climate-controlled storage
Okay.
there, which is, what they came to this board for about 7 or 8 months ago, yes.
It's probably important too, Ken, to mention that you mentioned in PC that there was a traffic study done, because I think some people had questions about that, and there was no real impact to that area.
Yeah, well, it came to the point where it's going to be time to see if, to evaluate to see if a traffic study would be necessary. And after our traffic superintendent got to take a closer look at it, he determined that one was not needed. But yeah, just to reiterate, as far as traffic goes, he did not have any safety concerns with it, yeah.
Ken, it says there's 152 apartment units that they envision. Do they range in size, like 1 to 2 to 3 bedroom, or?
Well, I don't really have that level of detail yet. I'm not exactly sure, and I don't know if that mix has actually been thought out by you all yet, has it? Yeah, I don't think they're quite there yet, but they have that target density in mind at least. So.
Well, I think the board would join in with me in saying that we need this kind of housing. And,
Well, yeah, and this area needs a good jump start too. Yeah, absolutely.
anything else before I declare the public hearing closed? If not, the hearing is closed. Mr. Attorney, please publish the ordinance.
An ordinance to further amend the zoning code text and map to rezone property located along Shadowtown Road from B3 Highway-Oriented Business District to R4 Medium Density Apartment District in the 7th Civil District of Sullivan County, to fix a penalty for the violation of this ordinance and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Alderman. Is there any discussion? Or any questions you might have thought of for Mr. Williams? If not, all those in favor, and this is a first reading, of course, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0, one absent. Thank you, Mr. Weems. We've now reached the part in our proceedings for citizen comment. Citizens may speak on agenda items. There was agenda available at the table right as you came in the door to this room. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda, and I'll reiterate, this is only pertaining to the items on the agenda of which we are deliberating on tonight. Is there anyone who wishes to reproach us? If not, I declare this part of the meeting closed, and please proceed, Mr. City Manager.
All right, first item is a resolution and ordinance to accept a private monetary donation for the police canine program and appropriate the funds. We ask that you approve the resolution and ordinance as presented.
The citizen who made this donation wishes to be, he wants to be low-key on this, I guess the easiest way of saying it, but we very much appreciate his donation. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution accepting a monetary donation for the Kingsport Police Department's K-9 program.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0, one person absent. Please proceed.
Next item is
I need to read the ordinance.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please publish, that was the resolution. Please publish the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend the general project special revenue fund budget by appropriating donated funds for the year ending June 30, 2022 to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? We approved the resolution. Now we're going to vote on the ordinance, first reading. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0, one absent. Now proceed, Mr. City Manager.
All right. Next item is an ordinance to accept $44,000 from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office fiscal year 22 grant. These funds will be used to assist the Kingsport's traffic safety enforcement effort. We ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general project special revenue fund budget by appropriating grant funds received from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, THSO, for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So, second.
Moved by the Alderman Duncan, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is another ordinance to appropriate $20,000 from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office's fiscal year 22 coordinator grant. These funds will be used to assist in training and travel to traffic-related workshops and conferences. The police department every year does a very good job searching out these funds that help keep our citizens safe. And Chris has underlined in the action form a very important line, no matching fund.
Right, and the previous was no matching
No
funds.
matching fund, yes, sir.
And Officer McGuire, who we just met a few minutes ago, this enables him to travel for various training workshops to be up to speed in the traffic reconstruction and so forth.
Yes, sir.
So that's a good thing. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general project special revenue fund budget by appropriating grant funds received from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, THSO, for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Phillips. Is there a second? Second by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is an ordinance to amend Code of Ordinances, Chapter 98, related to traffic and vehicles. This ordinance will align city code with state law related to various traffic offenses. We ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading.
Thank you. And Ryan, the discussion we had earlier during our work session, it gave me the impression, and Chief Phipps might want to elaborate, but it streamlines the adjudication of traffic offenses. Would that be a proper way of saying it, Chief?
That's very accurate, Mr. Mayor. The state process, as it is right now, is very cumbersome, and their court system is very burdened as well. But this will allow a violator within the city to be able to process through the city court versus a state court, which is, like I said, is cumbersome. So it's more efficient and more effective for not only the citizens but the officers as well.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kingsport, Tennessee by adding additional sections to Chapter 98 relating to traffic and vehicles and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there seconded by Alderman Cooper? Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is a budget ordinance for various funds in fiscal year 22. The largest action is receiving $607,194 in governor's grant for from the state of Tennessee. We're receiving it, and the board will consider projects that this will go toward at later meetings. Additionally, we're performing some housekeeping actions within the MPO and a project fund within the police department. We ask that you approve this ordinance on first reading.
Thank you. Before I get the attorney to publish, let me remind our audience that if it appears at times we're going quickly through these items, the board has all been over them individually, one-on-one with the city manager, and then as a group at a work session. And now, this is at least the third time that we've seen it, in addition to your individual study of the items. And so we're not rushing to deliberate on the items. Secondly, this particular item, if we approve it, we'll accept the governor's grant to the state of Tennessee for over $600,000. And as the deputy city manager alluded, we need to have a session here in the not-too-distant future to consider this money, how best it could be spent, as well as federal dollars that have come to us as COVID relief. And both these items, they come with certain restrictions by either the state or the federal government. We can't just spend them on anything. We do have a certain amount of latitude under the guidelines. But this has been very important forthcoming series of meetings that the board will have with the staff to decide how the best way of using these items. And the federal government's intent was simply to make good on some of the losses that municipalities experienced during this unusual COVID pandemic period. So without further ado, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend various project fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is an ordinance on second and final reading to adjust the fiscal year 21 health insurance fund. We ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading.
Thank you. I'll remind my colleagues that the next two items will require a roll call vote. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to increase the health insurance fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2021, to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman. Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye. It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is an ordinance on second and final reading to adjust the fiscal year 22 fleet maintenance fund. We ask that you approve this ordinance on second and final reading.
Thank you. Is there, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to increase the fleet fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Seconded by Alderman Cooper. Is there any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper. Aye. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman.
Aye.
Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, it passes 6-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is a resolution for the purchase of 2 Ford Ranger four-wheel drive Super Cab XLT and 2 Ford F-350 XL four-wheel drive pickups from the Tennessee State contract. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute purchase orders for 2 Ford Ranger 4x4 Super Cab XLT trucks and 2 Ford F-350 XL 4WD from Lonnie Cobb Ford pursuant to Tennessee Edison contract number 64473.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Does that Ford mean first on race day?
I'm a Ford man, so for me it is, but others would disagree.
They'd say fix and repair day.
Four truck drivers on this board.
Yeah.
Okay, that was just a little mayoral humor, but any further discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
All right, the next item is a resolution to award the purchase of 1 New Holland tractor utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing for 1 New Holland tractor.
Now, this is used for mowing, right?
Yes, with the sidearm boom, mowing the
Okay.
right-of-ways.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to keep up that mowing, I'll tell you.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any, is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Cooper. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
All right, the next two items are on behalf of the school system. Next item is a resolution authorizing the mayor to renew the agreement with Instructure utilizing case benchmarks and issue a purchase order for the same. This is a program used by the schools to provide benchmark data and insight related to TCAP performance. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you, and I think the renew part was very important because it indicates that the school system is satisfied with this business arrangement. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to sign in-structure renewal services order form, which utilizes case benchmark and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Phillips, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
Next item is a resolution authorizing the approval of purchase of SNAP software for school health, from School Health Corp., utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. We ask that you approve the resolution as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving the purchase of SNAP software from School Health utilizing Sourcewell contract 061417SHC.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Cooper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
All right, the next two items are easements. Next two items are easements to AEP or Kingsport Power Company. The first one is to grant a right-of-way easement adjacent to Fort Henry Drive. This is for an underground feed to the city's streetlights along Fort Henry. And they did provide a location map, Eastman Road, Fort Henry, and then the box in between is the Exxon gas station, Zoomers. So the easement would be directly behind that property. It's underground, so we actually will never know what's there. So it's just to feed our streetlights.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way easement with Kingsport Power Company.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Phillips. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. It passes 6-0. Next item.
The next item, again, is a easement, a right-of-way granted to Kingsport Power Company. This one is to feed the new Scott Adams Skate Park, again underground from Industry Drive, going up Brickyard Park, and also will assist in feeding the future development of the Brickyard.
Okay, I got to put you on the spot here now. There was a good article in the paper about the skate park this morning, and it said we were going to start this month. You agree?
That's right. In fact, earlier tonight, we recognized Pat Breeding and Jennifer, who were instrumental in the Miracle Field, and they both have been instrumental in delivering the skate park as well. So we've got a good team, and I think they're going full bore to get the project finished.
Good.
Also, the playground today at Miracle Field, had Miracle Field, and there were surveyors. So there was some activity going on this afternoon.
Yeah, I thought the article in Times News was good, and I'd recommend it to our citizens. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way easement with Kingsport Power Company.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Phillips, seconded by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
The next two items deal with the long-anticipated Main Street rebuild. We are as close as we've ever been, waiting on TDOT to do one final check of the plans before we can get that thing out to bid. But this is one less hurdle we have to cross. Main Street is a city street, but there's a portion of the street, what looks like the street actually owned by CSX, where you cross the tracks. That property is actually CSX property, so we're building a street across their property. And what the board is going to consider tonight is an agreement that allows us to build the street. They need to make sure that we keep their activities as safe as possible. So this agreement the board enters into allows us to do those activities.
we've discussed this before, when we finally get started here, get everything completed with TDOT, they're gonna pay how much of the?
It's an 80/20 through the
80/20.
NPO.
80% of, how much altogether?
Now you put me on the spot.
It's like 11 million or something like that?
That's correct, yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's a big deal, everybody, and we regret it hadn't started sooner, and we anticipated it did, but the payoff's gonna be big when TDOT pays 80% of this cost.
Yes.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving a construction agreement with CSX Transportation, Inc., CSXT, for the Main Street project and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the vice mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
The next item is related to the previous one. This is a resolution to enter into a facilities encroachment agreement with CSX for the Main Street water line construction. That is because when it's all said and done, a water line will be crossing their property along Main Street. So this allows us, it allows us to encroach upon their property.
Okay. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution approving a facility encroachment agreement with CSX Transportation, Inc., CSXT, for the construction of a water line as part of the Main Street project, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Alderman, seconded by the vice mayor. Is there any discussion?
So after this, we're just waiting on TDOT now to,
That's correct. There's different layers within the approval of the plans that we're working through on TDOT's side.
so we're kind of just at a standstill till.
That's right.
This is one box we could check off, and then they could come back in 2 months and say, here's another box to check off.
I think we're close enough that the unknowns aren't popping up. It would be very odd at this point if there was a new unknown.
Okay.
That's what the final plans are taking care of, the kind of those checklists. So it would be very concerning if a new one was to pop up at this point. We're that far down the path. As soon as we get the approval, it'll be on the street, but we have no control of moving it through that process.
Mr. Attorney, did I get you to publish this?
Yes.
You did? Okay. I got engaged in thinking about this conversation. Do you have any idea how the worth of a project in any given year that TDOT is dealing with? It probably is $1 billion.
It's in that range, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they sent us a list of bridges that they're repairing here in town, and they, $7.5 to $12 million per bridge. I mean, their projects are very, very expensive, and they stretch from one side of the state to the other.
I'm not trying to throw any rocks at anybody. I'm just saying we're competing with all the other cities in the state for their attention, and we're grateful when our project comes up to the top of the list, I guess.
Yes, it definitely is up there. It's just they are going through making sure everything meets all their requirements at this point.
Yeah. Any further discussion, board? Did I get it's on the floor, right? Okay, then if not, no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
All right, the next item is to formally accept all deeds and deeds of easements received over the past year. This is a fairly routine and a good housekeeping effort. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney, remind me, this comes up like once a year then, right?
Correct.
Okay. Please publish.
A resolution to accept deeds, deeds of easements, and other monument of title from the various property owners and others having an interest in property is hereinafter set out, conveying to the city of Kingsport, a municipal corporation of the state of Tennessee, title to the property described in such deeds, deeds of easements, and other monument of title located in the 10th and 11th Civil Districts of Sullivan County, Tennessee.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
It passes 6-0. Next item.
The next item is a resolution to change the meeting dates for the second business meeting in September and to cancel the first October meeting. So the second meeting in September will move from the third Tuesday to the fourth Tuesday. And then we cancel the first meeting in October. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
Okay. To our audience, that means our next work session is on the 27th September, and the next business meeting's on the 28th of September. As the deputy city manager explained, this is out of our normal routine. It's something we had to do because there's a series of important meetings that both our city staff and elected officials have to attend. It's in our best interest to be represented at those meetings. And therefore, we had to change our schedule around. So we're required to do it formally, as we are right here, but we want to make sure the public understands, because everybody's kind of used to our routine of normally meeting the first and third Tuesday night for a business meeting every month. So, having said that, Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution changing the date of the regular business meeting of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in September 2021 from the third Tuesday to the fourth Tuesday for September 2021 and cancel the first October 2021 meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 6-0. Next item.
The final item is rejection of bid for holiday decor. These are the Christmas decorations that are hung throughout downtown. We plan to continue with the decorations we have in the past few years. They are on their last leg. We feel like we can stretch them one more year. Andy Hobbs and his group might be tack welding a few pieces together, but we'll make sure that it's presented well, and then we will go back out for bid after Christmas. We ask that you approve this resolution as presented.
You know, having grown up here, I got to say that the town always looks wonderful at Christmas time and brings back a lot of memories. So I appreciate y'all, the staff, making it as attractive as possible every holiday season. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution rejecting all proposals related to the holiday lights and decor.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 6-0. We have no consent agenda, so we go into communications, and you're up, Mr. Deputy City Manager.
Yes, I hate that Chris isn't able to be the one to read this in the communications first. He worked very hard, he and Jessica and the board, to streamline the development process as it relates to materials agreement. And this is the very first one that we're reading into the minutes rather than the board acting upon it, because these were by policy presented and everything was in order. But the city manager entered into 2 materials agreements over this past month that I need to read into the minutes. The first is Orth Construction for Hunts Crossing Phase 1. The second was Hickory Ridge LLC for Friley Court Development. And they both are around a $39,000 value. So there's, I think there was 22 lots in one and 39 in the other. I might have that 39 wrong. But it's very exciting times in Kingsport, a lot of development occurring. The second thing I'd like to do is, again, commend Sheila for stewarding this project, the Miracle Field. The application that she submitted on our behalf really caught their eye. And when Judd was speaking, it really did come home to me that the awards and the recognitions are great, but really watching Nico and his ability to participate in sporting events like all kids should be able to is really what is worthwhile. So it was great to see Nico here and accepting that award. But thank you, Sheila, and thank you, Nico.
Everything else?
That's it.
Okay, the materials agreements indicates that we're making progress in erecting new housing in the city.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let me start with Alderman Phillips tonight.
I have to go first anymore. I moved in one, but I'm back, leading the charge. I have one tiny thing, and it's Racks by the Tracks, the yearly festival, second biggest festival in Kingsport, is September 25th, and it's normally May. It's usually the weekend between Mother's Day and Memorial Day, which it will be again next year, but as times are weird, this year's festival will be September 25th, and so they've got a Fleetwood Mac tribute band that's coming. And the nice thing about Racks is it's an outdoor festival, so everybody can feel comfortable in coming and social distance, and still we'll have plenty of room. But it's nice to see some normalcy returning with Fun Fest and now with Racks a few months later. So, and the other neat thing about Racks is since it's always in the spring, all the beers you taste are springtime beers. So now it's in the fall, you get to try all the Oktoberfest beers for one time only. So that'll be pretty neat. But other than that, that's all I've got. My football team was embarrassed, and I got my head down.
Okay, we will take responsibility for that one. Go ahead there, Mr. Tommy.
I do have one small request that everyone, all you DB fans, go support them. They're now 2-0, I believe.
3-0.
3-0. Yeah, and they've got a good team, and they're playing well right now. So I'd encourage everybody to go follow them. And
This coming Friday, the 10th of September, they have a home game versus David Crockett.
that's it.
Yeah, Crockett's got a pretty good team.
So I'll be there, so I hope to see everybody there.
And
I'll be there
DB's
politicking.
DB's ranked number 8 in the state right now in
Right.
the 6A classification.
Right.
So that's pretty good. Science
Yeah.
Hill's not in the top 10.
Not
Not,
to mention your ETSU Bucks.
yeah, Tommy,
Yeah.
what about the Bucks beating
yeah.
Vandy?
Lord, thank you, honey. I about lost it all there. Yeah, my Bucks put it to them down there, and they played well too in Nashville, and they showed those Vanderbilt Commodores what football was like up here in East Tennessee.
Yeah. I thought they played well in all aspects of the game.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Well, thank you. Is that it, Tommy?
Yeah. Now I am officially over.
Okay.
Now I don't have to come back for the fourth time.
Okay. No overtime.
No overtime.
Daryl?
I'd like to say just to that, we miss you seeing you on the sidelines, Tommy. You've been a fixture on the sidelines forever, so Sharon was kind of commenting on that the last home game there, so we miss seeing you. Just a few numbers from Move to Kingsport as we continue to see people choose our city to live in. Since the pandemic has hit, we've had 1,125 families move to Kingsport. That's outside of a 35-mile radius.
Since March 2020?
Right. And so that's outside a 35-mile radius, and 81 new families in the month of August. And so that's pretty amazing, and that come from 25 states. So we want to welcome those people, and we're seeing this continue each and every month, where that number continues to, well, it really goes up probably between 80 and 100 almost each month, or it has for the past previous month. Saturday is an important day in our nation, where it's 9/11. And so I hope we can all just take just a few minutes out of our time just to think of our first responders. That's the 20th anniversary. And then Lamplight Theater, I think, has got the Valley. It started this past weekend, runs through September the 19th, I believe it is. Angie would know more about that than myself. And then we do have other events. James mentioned Racks, but we have Wing Fling, which is a little bit different this year, and also Wine and Whiskey. coming up too. So plenty of things to do and with a lot of social distancing.
I thought you'd bring up the Kingsport Theater Guild. They got a new play coming up.
They do. They've
And
got a
new
new play
director.
and new director. John Haywood is the director now, and he'll do an amazing job at that too.
Is that it? Okay, Miss Betsy?
I'm going to just put a plug in for the Kingsport Public Library. I encourage you to get on their website and look at all the things that are taking place at the library. It's not the library of my day, when I was younger. It's currently open to the public Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 7. And just like this, a week alone, today there was Let's Get Moving at 7:30 and Story Time in the Park. There's Story Time in the Park on Thursday. There's an embroidery class, a teen crafts nooner, and there's Saturday there's a WOW night at 8 o'clock. If you don't know what that is, look it up on the library's website. This is also a library card sign-up month, the whole month of September. So there's a lot of things that you don't even have to go to the library. You can just register online for ebooks that come straight to your computer or your tablet. So they have a workspace up there that you can do all kinds of fun things. So like I said, it's not the library that we were used to, or I was used to when I was going to the library when I was younger. There's all kinds of crafts and all kinds of neat things going on there. And also, today, Lindy White came and talked to us at our work session about the COVID numbers. So everyone I think this time around, as we hit another peak, it's easy to get discouraged and kind of to get oblivious or to what's going on around us. So we just need to be vigilant and think about all the things that we did earlier to get out of to make our numbers go down. Just wearing a mask when appropriate, social distancing, washing your hands, and trying just to do all you can to stay healthy. I said, then if you look at the numbers this time, they're very sobering. Very, I think we're all getting so weary of it, and that's all you hear. So you get almost, you don't think about it like you did 18 months ago when it was first coming out. So just try to stay safe and try to stay healthy and get vaccinated, wear your mask, and do all you can to keep our children that aren't able to get vaccinated yet safe.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Vice Mayor?
Want to say that Ryan did a wonderful job here, but I do.
You kept us on track one time?
Just one time. I only had to do it one time. That's good. But I do hope that Chris has a speedy recovery and comes back. This is now 2 times in a row, so if, we'll see if this is a trend for you sitting up here with us. But, I do hope, Chris, if you're watching, which I'm sure you are, I hope you feel better, and if you need anything, let us know. And as Betsy said, Lindy did a very good presentation talking about the concerns that Ballard has for the increasing number that is being hospitalized right now and the effect it's having for a lot of the counties feeding into this area. And, we all took things very seriously a year ago. I think a lot of people are really over it and are not being as careful, but this is hitting a lot of people. So we do need to constantly think about, if you're not vaccinated, wear a mask, social distance, find out about the vaccine if you have not gotten it, and make a smart decision on whether you need to get vaccinated, and wash your hands and do all the things we did before. We may have a flu season this year, so you don't want to have both feeding into the hospital at the same time. So just stay safe, and I think people are all getting out, and we're all coming together again in a lot more areas. So everybody just needs to keep being safe. And it was also, she had some really good information about some really good things coming to Kingsport with the Women and Children's Center and the pediatric ER.
Indian Path.
At Indian Path, yeah. So there's some really, they're doing a whole lot of things other than just fighting COVID. So it was a very good presentation.
It was.
That's all I have.
Thank you. As my colleagues mentioned, Ms. Lindy White, I can't remember what her exact formal title is. I want to say Vice President of Ballard, but she's in charge of the northwest part of Ballard. So several hospitals and clinics come under her supervision. So of course, the 2 hospitals here in Kingsport come under Ms. White, and her presentation was very informative and sobering. You know, there are people dying from COVID around us. As a retired soldier, you know, it's almost like we're in a war because people die in wars. And we may be tired of it, but we can't just quit the fight because the disease is still fighting us. Now, I'm not a physician, so every time I ask somebody to get vaccinated, I qualify it by saying, check with your physician. If you have some kind of hesitancy about getting vaccinated, your physician, they know your health history and your own particular medical record and so forth, so they can advise you. Now, it turns out that well over 90% of the population probably should be vaccinated, and what's very sobering, again, use that word, is that when you look at the statistics that Ms. White's provided us, and they're easily available to the population, the huge numbers of people that are admitted to the hospital with COVID are people that weren't vaccinated. Occasionally, there is someone who was vaccinated and submitted, but those cases usually turn out to be not as severe, and they get over it a lot easier. So you may say the vaccine's not 100% perfect, but it's the best defense we have against this enemy, and the enemy's COVID-19. So, and Betsy, you know, if people go to the library and they don't have a book, maybe one of the other libraries in the area may have the book, and they can get it from them. Betsy's absolutely right. The library's got some wonderful programs going on. So, we've come to the part in the meeting where citizens may come forward to the board and speak on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. We ask that you keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone that wishes to come forward and speak to the board? If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information,